David with TechNewsZone.com, doing a little test print on the Printrbot Adoptabot. I was having some issues with it. I think it's leaning a little to the right, but I recalibrated it, raised it a millimeter, so it seems to be working again. And now I'm trying petg. I had some blue Dremel build paper. Basically, it's a piece of masking tape that goes on the bed. But it's printing out a little fish from the Simplify 3D. I had to play with the temperatures a little bit. I'm doing it 232 degrees. And it seems to be working now, but earlier it was having some issue with calibration. I think the little Z probe's a little loose, so maybe I'll put a new piece of one of those things, the zip tie, because it pushed it down a little bit, so it was printing too close to the bed. So I raised it like 0.8 millimeters, the Z height, and then I readjusted the probe. So it's printing. It's kind of cool, thanks to Burning Gems, but the friend on Twitter. But it's a cool little printer. And I've had a hard year this year, so this one's ours to keep, take to school. I've had some other issues with finances, so now I have a good printer. This one, I'm going to try to make electronics cover for the wires. I have one, but it doesn't fit properly, so. But it works. It's fairly easy to fix. I think it's leaning a little to the right. I oiled it a little bit because it was sounding a little squeaky. It seems to work. It's printed all in petg according to Burning Gems, a friend on Twitter. And I'm printing right now I'm actually printing in petg right now. It's a fish. I actually got the fish in my made 3D jelly box. That's like the one they always use, but I'm trying to print it on here to see how it comes out. But it seems to be working now. Let's see if you can see on the screen. It's printing the fish, so it is actually printing the fish. So it's like a fish skeleton that moves. It seems to be working. I have it at 0.75 speed, like 75%, 1.0 to 1% flow, and then about 232 degrees. And this is KVP. Shout out to KVP. KVP red, transparent red filament. So. Maybe I'll try a Coke bottle next. That Coke bottle is actually printed on my I made 3D jelly box 2, or my snack maker, but those are on loan. I loaned it to a school, so now I just have this one. But this is our Printrbot Adoptabot version 1.4, and it's doing a good job. I had some issue with it earlier, but I got it to work. So far, I printed a little miniature gnome on it yesterday, and now I'm printing the fish. It seems to be working. Next step, clean up the wires. And the petg is sticking pretty good. It does stick quite well on masking tape, so it does work. You don't need a heated bed for it. ABS is the only thing you really need a heated bed for, as per my perception. So it was printed in PLA yesterday, and today it's printing at 232 degrees. It has an Ubi's hot end on it, or I don't know if it's a true Ubi's hot end, but it came with a hot end. It's a Printrbot hot end. Ubi sells them, so if it ever has a problem with the hot end, I can always get a new one. But it is printing 232 degrees. It's not super loud. They say if all else fails, try again. So it's having some glitches, but I got it to work. It printed yesterday fine. Someone said you could turn down the motor heat, which I'm not sure how I do that on this printer. I don't see little turn down things, but I'll look for them. Current. I'll be on the board. David, TechNewsZone.com in Las Vegas. Printrbot Adoptabot printing. Now we're on layer. We are on layer. I don't know. Does it say on the screen somewhere? So far, so good. This is our Printrbot Adoptabot printing a fish from, I got the fish from I Made 3D Jelly Box too. I think it's also available on Thingiverse, but it's a fish that moves once it's printed, and it's doing it now. Our Adoptabot is working, version 1.4. I'm a huge fan of Printrbot. Sad that they went away, but Brook Drum's awesome. Brook Drum, my bad, is awesome. I know he's still on Patreon. We have been followers. We're a little broke this month, so I might not be his follower, but I'll go back to being one once I get back to having extra money. But this is Dave with TechNewsZone.com. I'm a blogger. I'm an Aspie dad of 3 with autism, Army vet, Las Vegas native, Golden Knights fan, UNLV alum. I have 3 kids, 22, 22, and 18. 3D print guy. I do have a polisher that Polymaker sent me. I just got to get some isopropyl alcohol for it. As soon as I get some, I will test it out. I still have my Polymaker filament. I have orange, and I think I have natural that work on the 1.75 millimeter. And I have some 2.85 millimeter Polymaker Polysmooth as well. But right now I'm printing in PETG just to see how it does with PETG. So far so good. Earlier I had some issue with the Z height, but got it working. Trial and error. Looks like it leans a little forward. I may have to raise it slightly. Could be the little bed thing too, because it doesn't look like it's exactly straight, but it does have a Z probe, so I think it calibrates it. So even though it's a little bit, looks like the front of it's leaning up a little bit, but it is working, so. Dave at TechNewsZone.com in Las Vegas. It's a Printrbot Adoptabot, printing the fish from I Made 3D and Jelly Box 2, and it's also on Thingiverse. I think it's like FOB fish. Happy Passover to my Jewish friends. Happy Easter to my Christian friends. This is Dave with TechNewsZone.com, showing off our Adoptabot version 1.4. It works pretty well considering it. It reminds me of someday if I get rich, I wouldn't mind another Printrbot if you can get one, like a Printrbot Simple or a Prusa. It would be awesome, because this is kind of, this printer is very rep-rap-ish. It's a little wee board. It's a Printrbot board. I don't know if it's a duet or not. I can't tell. I don't know what board this is. I know what this header is for. If anybody's a printer, what's this for on here? Is that a place to add a controller? If I could add a controller to it where I could print from it, that'd be cool. Right from the, from like a controller like most printers have on them, that'd be cool. But right now I'm printing from my computer. It's an old Mac Pro 4,1 with the BIOS. It thinks it's a 5,1. So I basically have a Mac Pro 5,1. And it works. And I have 48 gigs of RAM thanks to OWC Computer. Shout out to OWC for donating 64 gigs of RAM for our old Mac Pro. But my Printrbot is working. David with TechNewsZone.com, April 20th, 2019.